All right. Again, thank you all for the continued support for ISOM. Number two, this campaign is doing extremely well right now. Let me actually refresh this real quick before we get into this topic. We had 1.741 million, closing in on 15,000 total purchasers. So big shout out to you all. And speaking on that note, there's a post right here that we're going to go through. This will be the topic for the video. And this isn't, I wouldn't call this a monetize your hater segment, I guess. This is more, I believe this to be the attitude of a significant portion of the comic book industry, maybe other entertainment industries as well, but especially with comics, if we want to keep it unique to what it is that I'm a part of. And it shows and rather highlights the actual problems with the industry, but also, more importantly, maybe for some of you, why we got the backlash it is that we got, despite this being the most mild thing that I've probably ever been a part of in recent years in the creation of the rEsPeCt, a comic book company. And this is what this guy had to say. And he's responding to a post where I was responding to someone else who kind of moved a post talking about how ISOM was going to basically be a failure in the long run, or the rEsPeCt. But this is what this guy said. You only measure success in money. That's it. You can sell dirty bathwater and make that money. It's not true. That is very evident in the fact that I have been a part of other things that have sold, and I can say other things that have sold relatively well. Nothing has sold anything comparable. Like a Backwards album hasn't sold anything comparable to what we've done with a comic book with ISOM. So that in itself shows you, and I know there's people that insist that just because you have a following, that means that that's good enough and you're just going to get people to make that money. And no, that's simply not true. Also indicative in the fact that, well, you have something like Boom Studios, an established publication, as well as, I'd argue, in our generation, maybe, perhaps the most likable actor in recent years, and Keanu Reeves. He does his own comic book, and it doesn't even do half of what the rEsPeCt, or rather ISOM 1 did. So that shows you in itself, I believe even ISOM 2 beat that. So that shows you in itself that it's not just easy as having a name. You still have to present something, package it well, and present something it is that people actually want. So that's not even true. But going on, it says no impact on the market. How possibly could you say that we have no impact on the market after making multi-million dollars within a year? So within a year, we have we're entering into almost two, because this is closing on $2 million. So we're gonna, by the end of this, I'd like to think, have 2 multi-million-dollar campaigns. There's no impact on the market. Ignored by the industry. Look at me. I'm the industry now. No interest from the market or market share. No respect from peers. That's what this is all about. Not positive, unbiased reviews. There's been plenty of those, actually. Just money. Okay. So there's a couple of things in play here. First and foremost is the economic illiteracy, especially following up. I mean, if you wanted to make the claim that, well, it was a one-hit wonder and, it's just lightning striking at the right place, right time. If you wanted to make that argument for ISOM 1, which would have been stupid, you can't make it now, especially because ISOM 2 now is well over $1 million. So now you can't say that this isn't anything. Well, let me say this. It had to have been something that people wanted in order for the second to be as successful as it is. Make no mistake, we have sold over 26,000 books, well over a third. We're entering in, let's say, 4,000 away from actually hitting half of what we sold the first time. So number twos don't generally do that. So we're seeing a lot of success here, and you can only do that if you are presenting something it is that people want. So that's markets at play. So we don't make money. And this is why the idiots who insist that the business stuff is different from the creative stuff, it's moronic. No, it's not. Especially with comics, they are intertwined. Definitely with new independent stuff, they're intertwined. In order to have a successful, it has to be a creative success in order for it to be a business success. It's just how it is. Okay. But this one thing that this weirdo had to say was particularly interesting. And that's this part about no respect from my peers. And that's why a lot of these guys do this. You saw the whole comics broke me and you saw people that are nominated for all these awards by their peers, and somehow they're broke. That's your problem. Is that you think that it's something nefarious going on, and there's something particularly bad because a comic book company came along and their primary thing that they focus on is selling books to willing purchasers. And they think there's something wrong with that. Oh, it's just you're making money. That's the only measure of success. To be honest, that's the primary measure of success. Because that's showing people, I don't owe anybody money. People don't owe me their money. There's nothing there. There's just a product. That's it. Just a product. There's no investment bankers. None of that. It's just a product being sold. So that's the primary metric to the success. It's going to be how many books that we're pushing, how much money that we're bringing in versus how much money we're spending. That's just the honest to God truth. Those are the facts. And these economic illiterates think something is wrong because, well, you don't get respect from your peers. I don't care to get the respect from my peers. I've made that point abundantly clear 1,000 times. My peers' opinion of me is really useless. The only thing that would matter for me is if they could help me make more money. And often they can't do that because a lot of my quote unquote peers aren't business owners. They're not businessmen. They're contractors that work with other people, right? So they don't even understand the aspect of what it is that I'm considering here. And I have to consider as a business owner. That's why they can't offer me much. Some can, and those that can, I will take some information from and try to, let's say, enhance my product. Hell, I'll hire them. People that work for me as employees or contractors, such as great Chuck Dixon. It's a great asset to have, right? Like that's my line of thinking. But for most of my peers, there's not anything that they can offer me. And even if they could offer me, let's say this, if my customers start one thing and my peers start another, well, guess who's wrong in that scenario? Or more accurately putting this, guess which person I'm going to consider in terms of their opinion more often than not? Actually, 100% of the time, that's going to be the customers. The peers can think it's the worst thing in the world. If the customers like it, that's all that matters. Because that's what I'm doing it for. I'm not doing it to be impressed or try to impress my peers. That doesn't do me any good. See, that's the stuff that these other weirdos care about. They care about status, right? Clout, like it's cosigns. I don't give a rat's. I don't care. That's not useful to me. What's useful to me is presenting something in a way that's digestible, of course, that's familiar, while also turning that into sales. So you can get the intrigue and you get the interest, but that's not good enough. You have to be able to convert that into sales. And that's what I'm here to do. Not, oh, hey, these guys like me. Yeah, you might be broke too. Most of you guys are. It's kind of just how it works. If you like this video and want to get into a new comic book universe, visit rEsPeCt.com. Our first campaign for iSum 1 hit $3.7 million, and the pre-order campaign for iSum 2 is currently live. So go check it out and watch the official launch trailer, which is the first animation of rEsPeCt Studios.